Hey everybody, it's Dark Green, the Rose Scholar, coming back at you. As you're aware, if you watched my other video a couple videos ago, I am starting on my book to help people financially. Going to go into chapter 1 again. These are just rough drafts, just getting started on this, but I want to put it on the videos because, as I said before, all the information in the book is free on my videos, but some people just want a book, so that's the reason I'm writing the book. But I'm going to start off with chapter 1. And I'll be looking down a lot at my notes and everything as I'm talking because I'm trying to get, the best feedback and everything possible. So if you have any comments, by the way, since you're on here, please hit subscribe. Leave a comment. If you don't like the book, leave that comment. Just leave comments. If you do like it, hit like and share with who you think it might help. Chapter 1 is going to start about like this. Once you're over your head financially, there are two ways most people react. The first way is living in depression, and the second is living in denial, neither of which will help you in any way. Depression and denial can have negative effects on your many parts of your life, your physical health, your relationships, and along with your spiritual life. People with depression over finances feel lost and a sense of hopelessness. They are receiving threatening calls from creditors. They are in fear of losing their car if they still have it. Imagine for a moment, if you need to, and have never experienced the fear that you may be receiving an eviction notice or foreclosure notice on your house. Your children may have to switch schools or maybe move during the holidays. Your spouse is losing all faith in you. You may lose your job because your boss is tired of your excuses and your car is out of gas again. And if that wasn't the worst part, your chest tightens just a little bit every time that you hear the phone ring or you see your cell phone go off and you don't recognize the number because it might be another bill collector. But at least you're thankful your cell phone is still on. How long before it gets cut off for non-payment? Hopefully it stays on until you get your paid next Friday from a job you hate but you have to keep. You can't call your mom or dad for help. They are finally cutting you off from the money tree, and at the worst possible time. Just like 2 weeks ago, you only needed to borrow $50 till this Friday. You can guarantee they're paid back this time. Last week, you just had to pay the cable bill. This week, you can pay them for sure. But then you still need to pay off the cell phone bill. It is all mute because they've cut you off anyway. Christmas dinner with the families in a couple of weeks, and right in the middle of you looking for a place to move. Maybe they will be in a better mood for the holidays. Good, because you don't have enough money for the down payment and enough money to move. Maybe they will have a heart to loan you some money to help you out of the real loss. This time, this is last time. The last time. And all you have to do is listen to the lecture at the Christmas dinner table. Again. Screw it, you're not going. The kids will get over not seeing their grandparents or their cousins. No wonder the holidays are the most depressing time of the year for most Americans. But they shouldn't be. For those who have no debt and are prepared properly, well, their odds are greatly improved of a joyous holiday season. Then there is the way I dealt with debt, me personally. I dealt with debt using denial. I would only feel depressed for a short period. Once it started to become overwhelming, I just ignored the problem. I could figure it out tomorrow. After all, that is what is the worst that could happen? I have been through worse, and I can handle getting through this. Let me tell you a little bit about my story. Here's what happened to me. Let's use the previous example. I got an eviction notice. This is actually how I dealt with it. Crap. I have 3 days to figure out how to get into a new place. Well, it's too late tonight to deal with it. I'll figure it out tomorrow morning. This is actually what I told myself at the time that I was going through this. I'll figure it out in the morning, but I need some sleep tonight. Poured myself a drink, to take the edge off so I could go to sleep that night. Half a bottle later and 5 hours later, I was waking up for work. My wife at the time starts asking me what we were going to do. I told her I wasn't sure. This actually happened to me. I will be calling my grandmother for help and I get off work today, after I get off work. Now to my wife, that meant I was going to ask my grandmother to borrow some money. Money I knew my grandmother didn't have. No, the truth is I was going to ask my grandmother if my wife and my 2-year-old daughter could move in with me. Some years ago. Yep, nothing makes you feel like a man as much as asking your 70-year-old grandmother if you can move in. My grandmother may have not had any money to lend me, but she did have 2 rooms we could use. Awesome, right? Yes! Well, now all I had to do is explain to my wife how great things were going to be living with my grandmother while we were saving up some money. The good news is we lived on the bus line in Dallas. That was actually great news because we just lost our car in a repossession. Hey, no big deal though. At least we're in a position to start saving some money, right? This is all me going through denial. So what better way to celebrate than to head to the bar with my brother? I'm buying. No excuses for him not to go. After all, I don't have any bills now. I'm living with grandma. So we got extra money. A few months of this and I came home one night. My wife and daughter are at her mom's house. I lost her faith in me, and rightfully so. No matter how many times we tried something, it was broken. No matter how many times I tried to fix it, the relationship was broken. Divorce came within a few months. The same pattern repeated itself for another 7 years through another marriage. It was my third marriage before I faced reality. It was my third wife who would not let me deny my problems and obligations. She wasn't having it. She wasn't leaving and she wasn't blaming me. She was forcing me to acknowledge the real problems. My wife, Carmen, explained to me that we need to get our finances straightened out. She told me that I knew how to repair our financial situation. She had listened to me tell me many people many times, explain to them how to get debt free. My wife watched me explain things to tell people how to invest in their future and everything. Roth IRAs, REITs, other investments. She had watched me teach others how to invest in rental properties and flips. She listened to me about saving money on interest by paying off a house early and making 1 extra payment per year towards principal only. Finally, she had enough. She made me sit down at the kitchen table and write down a plan for us to complete. A plan for us instead of me giving everyone else advice that I wasn't following. She broke out Dave Ramsey's book, made me go through the baby steps. This is what we call a come to Jesus moment in Texas. I had to face my problems, insecurities, and shortcomings. Unlike most other money gurus, I didn't have to learn about money works or how it worked. I already knew. I just had to get in control of my finances. I already knew the information. I just had to put it to use. Now, if you're reading this book, you're taking the first step. You'll read about some system millions of others, you'll read about the same system millions of others have used to become debt-free and retire with dignity. Learning these steps is the easy part. Putting them to use is harder. Sticking with them until halfway point is the hardest. Completing the other half is riding on the easy streak. I could tell you hundreds of stories of people who completed this plan. That does not help you at all out of your situation. I could tell you all kinds of successful stories, but how does that affect you and your circumstances? I hear too many times that those positive stories and motivational stories encourage others. That may be true for the short term, but does it work in the long term? Most of the time when you hear someone's success story, it starts off with what motivated them in the beginning. Very rarely is it mentioned a happy story. In fact, almost every story I have heard that starts off with how bad of a spot they were in. You hear how long and how low they felt. Their life is in turmoil. They are broken. This was their motivation. I have never heard one successful story yet about how life was pretty good, so I decided to sacrifice to make it better. No one has ever said, we were paying all of our bills on time and had plenty left over to do whatever we wanted. When has anyone ever said, I'm fat, I'm out of shape, and everyone treats me great because of it, so I'm going to go on a diet and exercise? No, you never hear that side of the story. What you hear are the things that drive them to be motivated. These motivational gurus and financial experts only talk about the hard times to make you feel better about your situation. This way, in your mind, you thinking, I think if they could do it, then I could do it, because look how bad they had it. Stop. Get out of that mindset right now. You are already starting to feel better about your situation when you just think of that way. You cannot afford to think that way if you're in uncontrollable debt. You need to be feeling low. You need to be hurting. You need to acknowledge your life sucks and embrace that horrible feeling. If you don't feel embarrassed, hurt, lost, or struggling, then you cannot set the right goals. I want you to remind yourself every day how bad off you are, because that feeling is going to make you fight. And trust me, this isn't going to be pleasurable. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a war. And you need to treat it as such. Stop focusing on how great things are going to be. In the first half of this journey, you need to stay out, focus on how things are, how bad things are. As you start pulling yourself out of debt, you'll begin to feel better about your life. When this happens, it is hard to maintain that hunger for a better future. People start to fall off the goal plan at this point, but not us. No, we're going to sit down and look back to the day we started, every once in a while in this book. We're going to remember that the day we felt like crap. We're going to remember the hopelessness, tears, and anger. We're going to use that to reach our finish line of the first race. Then we're going to repeat those steps and go back and remember how bad it was again. Then we are going to repeat these feelings again and again until we're in a financial position that makes it impossible to feel that way again. I had to remind myself many times of why I was getting debt-free. The end goal may give you a good feeling, but the hopelessness and despair is the motivation. That's chapter 1 of this book. So basically what I'm telling you guys is, listen, if you're in a bad situation, or you're hurting financially and things aren't going your way, embrace that, because that's what's going to cause the fight. Stop looking forward to how great things are going to be and start feeling better about your situation so you start falling off this program. Whatever you're feeling right now, if you're feeling hopelessness, despair, fear, you're losing your relationship, you need to look at all that and hold on to it, because that's what's going to cause the fight. No one ever gets motivated when they're feeling great and they're on top. People get motivated and determined and follow through when they feel like they're out of options. And if you are in debt and you're not making enough money and you're falling behind on you are behind on your bills and falling further, if your relationship is in turmoil, then that is the motivation you need. That's the motivation we're going to start off with. So embrace it. Now, this is the first part of chapter 1, and I will be continuing further in the book. But right now, this whole video right now is to make sure that you understand. Yes, you're following me on my book writing thing, and I appreciate that. But more importantly, I need you guys that need this help. The guys that are already in a financial situation is better, keep putting the comments down below and letting them know. Remind these people of how bad it was. I see some people on here comment, oh, I've got this plan, my life is much better now, I'm debt-free. But remind these people of how bad it was before you started getting debt-free. Because that's what's going to motivate them, not the good feelings. The good feelings is the end of the motivation. Right now, we need motivation, determination, and damn hard work. Thank you for watching this video. The next one will be coming out pretty soon.